Welcome, my friends. Getting yourself settled comfortably onto a chair so that your weight is resting just in front of these sitting bones, which is about here in the hip. Softening your legs. Your lower legs are simply settled, resting beneath your knees. Your feet are soft. Your toes are released. Folding and hinging comfortably from the hips, allowing your spine to be soft. Your chest is released and easy. Shoulders relaxed, your elbows hanging. Softening your neck and your throat and your jaw, allowing the crown of your head to float upward. Shoulders, elbows, wrists, letting go. From the root to the branch, to the tip. From the hips, through your knees, to your ankles and your feet and toes. Letting go. A wave of softness. As you release your neck and throat, allowing your head to feel light as though it is released upward easily. Your thoracic spine and your upper back is soft and free. Decompressing the spine there, letting little bits of space open up in between each of the vertebrae. And your lower back as well, as the whole upper spine is released upward and grows light. Even the lower back starts to decompress and some gentle space opens between each of the vertebrae. As your body decompresses, it's as though it opens and expands. Not because we're pushing. Pushing only causes contraction. But because we learn to let go, and space starts to open in the body. And in that space moves the breath. In one example, as you make room through the torso, feel the breath open easily through the whole torso. You might even feel it move further. Letting go and letting go. Further opening and expanding. Further lengthening and becoming free. Making space on the inside. Unclenching on the inside. Unclenching your mind. If you have any sense of momentum from earlier in the day, allow that to fall away. This need to do things, to get things done. Learning to settle and simply be present. A few more minutes, continuously bringing your awareness back by softening around the distraction, letting your mind settle back down. As you exhale through your mouth and soften further, it's as though you grow a little bit taller, because letting go so deeply allows you to decompress further, and your crown of your head floats up because it's being released even more. And as you inhale and you fill with this deep stillness, it's as though your body grows wider, filling out, expanding in all directions. A little taller and a little more expanded with each breath cycle. Today, I would like to emphasize this expansion and lengthening through letting go, but also this returning to stillness and settling. So, as we continue to practice, emphasize continually letting go of distractions, letting your mind settle back into this moment. And then, as you release the body, allowing it to expand, making space for things like the breath and other good energetic adjustments. Before I take my headphones off to work on the head and face, again, a quick welcome to the people who are joining us for the first time from around the internet. Please do check down below this video in the comment box for a link to a lesson that will teach you how to do this practice more effectively, how to locate the points, the kind of pressure that we're using. That way you won't feel so confused as we follow on with these live sessions. Make sure that before you begin, you make your hands nice and warm, bringing life and chi into your palms. basking in the sun right out in front of that door.
I didn't know it was a white cat.
Well, it's white and black. There's two of them. That's the one I mostly see. It lives in the wood pile next to the trailer. Ah, sun feels nice. Hmm. Doing a slightly shorter version of the set today because we have a Taoist music gathering immediately afterward. Welcome, Chris. Master Zusan Li.
It's Susami.
Zusan Li, that's Stomach 36. That's what the
Really?
point is. Yeah, that's the name of it. So he's been practicing. The name comes from, it means li is a measure of distance, like a mile or a kilometer.
Oh, right.
And zu usually refers to leg, and san is 3. So leg 3 miles. And it's this image, classically, that if you're exhausted lying on the side of the road, you're carrying your firewood, you can't get home, you're too tired, so you needle or treat somehow Sosan Li, the Systemic 36, and it gives you enough energy to make it all the way home. And I've used it a lot on marathon runners in Costa Rica and various athletes and people who in general are deficient. And it's a very nourishing point.
That's really neat.
It's a great point.
I love all the stories behind the name. It's not just some generic, like, pop in there, whatever. It has meaning.
It does. Yeah, it's in my top, probably my top 3, top 5 favorite points. Just so useful. And it's in the stomach and the large intestine channels. For the most part, always have lots of qi in them, because there are channels that tend to get deficient. And so if you try to treat them, nothing really happens because there isn't much life there. And so if you try to access those points or draw from them when they're depleted, then nothing really happens, or it just hurts or something, or it feels numb. But the large intestine and the stomach channels are nice because they are almost always replete, like full of qi, just by their nature. So we like to use those points for a lot of things. Help spread the qi around a little bit. Opening my hand here so people can see the point that I'm doing on the 5. Oh, I think, yeah, from the plum tree. Beautiful. Make a nice short poem from it. Petals falling from the plum tree. Fragrant scent carried on the breeze. It is a kind of winter in the middle of spring. It does kind of look like snowfall. It's very beautiful. I did also want to mention, because we have been throughout this series of 100 classes, for those of you who are new, we've been slowly covering a lot of basic Chinese medicine ideas, creating maps for the primary channels, the 8 extraordinary vessels, and we covered the primary channels on the arms and the legs, most of the torso, and we've been talking about how they traverse the head. The Du vessel along the midline, a bladder channel traveling on either side of that, and the next line over is the gallbladder channel, which actually zigzags across the head in a really interesting way, starting over here in the eye, the side of the eye, also very interesting. Sinks over to the ear and it zigs over here and zags around the ear and then comes back to the temple and over the temple on the side of the head. And so very often if people tend to get migraines or tension on the side of the head, or you can feel it pressing into the corner of the eye, it's often related to the gallbladder channel. It's very fascinating. So as we're doing this forehead scraping, as the channel continues down the back, these points here that we emphasize, also the points here on the top of the shoulder that we spend time with, all of that's part of the gallbladder channel. It kind of moves down the sides of the body, sides of the torso, side of the legs, down to the 4th toes. And so as we do this 10 dragons running through the forest practice in the very beginning, part of your awareness can be allowing that gallbladder channel to soften and release down the body. And so as you work on this opposite side, make sure that this shoulder here doesn't tighten up, this gallbladder 21 point. And then as you soften it with your fingers and your hands, remember again that we're not pressing into any particular point here. You can spend time on gallbladder 21 if you like, halfway between the spine and the tip of the shoulder. But we're not trying to dig into the musculature, we're trying to allow our awareness to help soften the layer beneath the skin on top of the muscles, spreading out through that empty space. And again, we're moving a bit quicker through the series today, but if there's any particular spot that is very important for you to spend time with, please do take that extra time. You can go through this practice as long as you like. You don't have to follow me once you've already learned the set. And now that we're on, what, day 83 or something? 82? That most people have learned the sequence by now, if they've been following through. And for those people, feel free to diverge from following me, take your own time, pause the video if you need to. Listen to your body Remember, you're not trying to treat yourself like a mechanic. You're trying to connect and relate to your body. Sink your awareness into your body. Cultivate the capacity for friendliness and kindness, loving touch with your body. Don't disconnect. Don't wander away for too long. Keep coming back. Bye, sweet. Bye, sweet. I had a nice long discussion with my Shifu this morning with Master Zhicheng. And we were talking about various things that obstructs people from their learning process. As people over the years and even today have come up to him over and over again, clearly being confused or being distracted by certain things and things they read or things they misunderstand. And one of the big misunderstandings about these practices is that people come to them, again, like people going to a car mechanic. They want their problem fixed. They want this one thing treated. I don't want this spot of me to hurt anymore. My neck's stiff. Help me have a less stiff neck. And so they come, and that's what they're hoping to get from these practices. And I think that's fair. If people come to my clinic or if somebody wants a quick adjustment or something, it's a Band-Aid. We fix this thing and then they leave. They don't care about changing whatever it was that caused that stiff neck. They're not really interested in changing their diet to find out why they're having diarrhea. They just want the diarrhea to stop. And I think that that's reasonable. It's a way people live. And it's true, they treat the therapist like a mechanic. And it's one of the reasons I prefer to treat a different way, to treat different kinds of things. It was one of the reasons that I started getting away from specializing in sciatica, because people would come in, like I've told stories, with 20 years of sciatica pain, and in a single treatment, they're better. And that's really neat. It's like magic. It doesn't always happen, but usually we can make a pretty quick shift in somebody with their sciatica. And that was one of the reasons I got into it as a practitioner. And it is a good way to make money, and people keep coming back forever because they've never learned how to change how they are. They've just learned that you can help them feel better. People come to me and I can help take their headache away, but they don't learn why they had a headache or how to change it.
I wonder how much of that is a reflection of Western medicine in general, where the tendency is to approach the body as a series of parts. And so maybe a lot of these people just don't know that there's a more holistic approach to whatever
That's right.
Suffering from. Like doctors are constantly reinforcing the Band-Aid approach.
That's right. Well, I feel like that is a problem of education. It's part of our job as healers to educate people about what they should expect. That we don't want to just fix the headache. We want to know why they had the headache and to help them make the adjustments so they don't have headaches anymore. What was the warning? The headache is just the red flag. The stiff neck is a red flag your body's holding up. Hey, something's wrong here. Maybe you should address it. But instead we just go, I don't want the pain anymore. Make the pain go away. And we don't fix what's causing this problem. The same thing with stress, the same thing with all of these various qualities, emotional things, mental issues. We rarely want to understand what's happening. We just want the problem to go away so we can go on with our lives. And I think that's fair. It's a way of seeing the world. And one of the big misunderstandings that Sherpa was talking about is that that's not really what these things are for, at least these things that we're doing. What we are trying to do is not to fix a problem, but to teach people how to transform. And that's this saying that you've heard me repeat over and over again in my videos, that people want to feel better, but they don't want to change. Transformation is the point of the practice, not making feel better. And so people that come here trying to fix up a stiff elbow or something, they may get some healing in their elbow, but that's not really the point of the practice. We are trying to change how people are in their minds, how they function in their body. This is a transformation process. That's what the Taoist process is for. And a lot of Chinese medicine traditionally as well, isn't to have a little fix it. We're trying to treat the whole person. That's why it's a holistic medicine. And so when we get treated like mechanics, or people expect that kind of mechanical fix, it's often because they don't understand the possibility there to become better, to become healthier, not just to have a little less pain. And so Sherpa and I were talking about how best to relate that kind of information to students and patients. And it's very difficult because, like I said, people don't want to change. They want to be who they are and how they are. They want to keep their lives the same. They want to keep eating the same, acting the same, sleeping or not sleeping the same. And people need to shift. They don't need to. People doing these practices hopefully will shift their goalposts, where they're aiming, to something much grander, to transforming, to becoming a person who is healthy, to becoming the kind of person that can't get headaches because you're too healthy, to becoming the kind of person that isn't tired because you're so deeply rested and your chi is so full, to become the kind of person that doesn't get sad or depressed or angry because you're so settled emotionally. Your mind doesn't spin into giant circles of distraction and obsession because your mind is so settled and clear. That's what we're aiming to create. Oops, forgot the front here. Continually returning, continually settling your awareness back in your body by being not interested in whatever it is you're being distracted by. Keep returning, keep returning. If just during this one form, if you can return 10 or 20 times during the form, that is huge progress. Continually settling, continually coming back. Stomach 36, warming, Su San Li. Gallbladder 34, spleen 9. Remember, you're not just pushing on points, you're changing your relationship to your body. You're softening your hands, you're learning how to connect and soften and to let go, to let your body fill with your awareness. Easing open the back of the knee. Bladder 40. This line here, this is that gallbladder channel that travels down the side of the leg that we were working on up here on the side of the head. Someone, by the way, was commenting on how I am so careful about putting my shoes away and how I arrange things. I do not suffer from any kind of obsessive compulsive need or neurotic need to be neat. That's not what that's about. I try to be respectful to everything in my life, to be careful and deliberate. It doesn't take me any more energy to place my shoes side by side, to arrange myself and arrange my body in a way that is better. In fact, over time, it actually requires less energy because I'm not introducing chaos into my world all the time. Our external world, in a way, is a mirror of our internal world. And our internal world is partially shaped by our external world. That's the whole idea behind Feng Shui. So if you can make an attempt to be clear and deliberate about arranging your world, about developing dignity, about how you are in your world, then that can make a really big difference. It goes a long way, rather than being careless, rather than lacking a sense of respect for your space and for your body. You take the time to simply be clear and deliberate and present. Everything is a kind of meditative opportunity. Beautiful day. Continually softening your hands, being easy and open. When your mind wanders away, don't fight the distraction. Let it go. Learn how to soften your mind, recognizing that the distraction is a kind of tension, it's a kind of agitation. You're actively inventing something that isn't happening. So you let it go, you conserve the energy, and let your awareness come back to what's happening. The point that you're opening or the section of your body that you're relating to. You relate to your body with this loving, gentle touch. You relate to your mind that way too. Don't try to grab and force things. Don't try to control things. Don't control your space around you too much. Don't try to control the people around you. We're just gentle and easy. Where you get distracted, we kind of smile and laugh at the distraction. Let our mind come back. We notice tension in our body. We don't grimace at the tension and try to force it to change. All that does is feed more tension. And instead, we smile at our humanness. We notice what's going on. We lovingly help it open and release. And then we move on. It's a very different way of being in the world. And we do the same with the space around us. That's why I keep recommending that people make sure that their house is clean, that things are basically in order. It's not that big of a difficult deal, but it does help to shift how we experience our insides too. Pop rocks in the soda.
Because that's what it feels like. It's like, oh, I gotta do something. I gotta get away from this chaos. But it does settle.
It does settle. You just wait. Yeah. Softening through the legs. Just a few more minutes of practice. So make certain that you delve into the richness of the practice as much as you can. Don't waste your time being distracted by pointless things. Figure out what it is that's important to you. Nourish that. I will take my headphones off for the movement of the tongue and the jaw. Make sure that you don't overdo it. Keep yourself very soft in this area. And of course, if you'd like to spend a few minutes lying down, you're welcome to. You do want to settle as deeply as possible. This skill of settling is one of the most important abilities that you can possibly develop through Qigong. One of the great skills in Taoism, famous quote is, "Can you sit and allow the dust to settle and the waters to become clear?" Thank you, everybody. I won't really have time for questions today. I hope that you enjoy your practice.
Will you let the person know who reads questions and respond?
I always read all the questions.